Oh, it was literally 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Which means I was probably 20.
Right.
Excuse me. Grammarly, I do appreciate you because I use you, even though you're wrong sometimes, but is it recording? How do you know it's recording?
It's recording.
No, but how do you know it's...
It just said on the screen that it's recording.
Yeah, but how do you know?
Well, when we're done and I look at the footage, I'll know.
It's been 5 years.
5 years. Actually, probably 5.5.
Yeah, actually, you're right.
So today, we're going to do a reaction video. Oops.
A reaction video.
So today we're going to do a reaction video to the Perfect Palette Tag. The Perfect Palette Tag was a video that we uploaded pretty early into my channel history. It was definitely during the first year that I was making content. We thought it would be funny to look back at it.
Embarrassing too.
I haven't watched this video in a really long time. Have you?
No, I haven't. And actually just looking at the screen that my mom has pulled up, I'm wearing a necklace that my ex-boyfriend gave me, and so that's weird to see that.
Because you were probably still dating at the time.
I was still dating him at the time.
I think you're actually texting him in
Probably.
this picture.
And so that's weird, but you move on with your life.
Yes.
So, and also I haven't seen those earrings on you in quite some time.
That's because one of them broke.
Okay, well that explains a lot.
And I really loved those earrings, but the wires were really thin, and it broke, and I had to toss them. So
wow,
yeah, and look how short my hair is.
Oh, well, I was just gonna say, look at my eyebrows, and my hair is actually the same length in this video as it is right now, but my hair's just curled.
Right. And of course, I've improved my lighting so much. But anyway.
Yeah, we used to face the other way.
Yeah. So here's a quick little backstory before we actually turn the video on. I remember I was really excited when we recorded this, but when I got done editing it, I was like, oh, it's not very good. Like, I didn't think it was very good. And it wasn't so much that I didn't think the content was good, I just didn't. The way the whole video kind of came together, I was having a lot of self-doubt. This was really early on in my editing journey, and I just was like, oh, maybe I'll reshoot it, maybe... You probably don't even know that, but I
actually had no idea.
I really had a lot of doubt, and then I was like, oh, what the heck, let's just put it up there. You know, one influencer liked it, and then another one did the tag, and then it was like one day I had like 500 new followers. It was just like, whoa. So,
and how many people have watched it?
So 53,000 people have watched it to date.
That's crazy.
It is by far my most watched video on my channel.
That is super crazy.
Okay, are we ready to start watching? Oh, and you had a great idea that you were like, we should...
Oh, yeah, we should... like keep track of how many of the palettes that we mentioned in this video that we still own today. Because I just recently purged my palettes. You just recently did a video on your palettes.
Right. I don't really remember which ones I featured in this video, so.
I'm also super embarrassed even just looking at the screen right now, so.
So what should we call this tag? Perfect Palettes?
Yeah.
Hi everyone, welcome back. So over the summer, Kate and I have been kicking around this idea for a tag video because we both love palettes. Yeah, I'm no surprise. I raised her right. I love palettes. She loves palettes. Anyway, I have a serious palette addiction, and I'm guessing you probably do too. Kind of, yeah.
False.
So, anyway, we thought it might be kind of fun and interesting just to kind of share our palette collection with you, and we created a couple of questions to talk about them. So I have 10 palettes in my stack. And
I need you to pause for a second.
How many do you have?
Did I own an eyeshadow blending brush is my first question. Because, wow, girl, you need some help. Oh, God. And my eyebrows are really bothering me.
Well, they've really come a long way. Or the way you're filling them in these days.
They still need some help, but And also my hair part is really bugging me in this. And like the fact that I didn't have one.
Yeah. I actually think I'm having a pretty good hair day in this
You are
video.
having a great hair day, which is awesome.
It's not the case in all my videos.
Oh
all right.
My gosh.
You ready?
Yeah.
I think I have 9 or so.
9-ish. So I thought maybe what we'd quickly do is just do like a really quick overview, show and tell, and then kind of get into
the perfect palette tag.
The perfect palette tag.
I'm excited.
Do we want to skip over this part and just get into the tag questions?
Yeah, sure. Anything to cut down the embarrassment time would be great.
Ooh.
Oh, I can already tell that I don't own that palette anymore, just from looking at it. Yeah, let's cut through all of the palettes so that we'll be super surprised. Also, while she's doing this, it's snowing here. We currently have 7 inches on the ground, and it's still accumulating.
Yes.
The Stila palettes that look like this. Make sure that the actual colors themselves match up in the holes. My mom bought one and it didn't match up, and I just don't want anyone else to have that problem.
Yeah, I talked about that in my very big birthday haul. Ooh, yeah. So the first question in this tag is packaging. So which palette do you have that you think has the best packaging?
You want me to go first?
You go first.
My pick out of mine is the Urban Decay Alice in Wonderland palette. I'm a huge Alice in Wonderland fan, so I like this one the best. And I just like all the detail that it has and how they named all the names. And then this is probably my favorite part, just a little pop-up thing that they put in here. So that's my favorite packaging.
I haven't seen it.
I don't own that. And it's really funny because I really only used like 4 colors out of that palette.
Yeah.
Ew, first of all, like, my voice really bothers me.
You sound very young. Do too many like this lately.
They don't do these anymore. I think Sephora started doing the ones for the princesses, like the Ariel palettes out now, but I think they're stopping that.
How did I know that?
So my favorite is the Aqua Lilies palette.
Do you still own that?
I do. You know, I think the front of it is so beautiful. It's so sleek. So it's sleek and beautiful. I think the layout inside is really wonderful. It has a great mirror.
It's a unique shape.
So yes, I do still own this. I don't really use it anymore, but every time I pull it out and look at it, I'm like, oh, I just love that palette. It is like one of my, what I call my Hall of Fame palettes. Like, it's a palette that I would repurchase in a heartbeat today if it were to like just magically appear.
It's pretty.
It's so stunning. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This is by far, I remember when I opened this, I was like, oh, this is so beautiful. And I feel that way every time I pull it out. So then the next question is color payoff. So which palette do you think has the best color payoff?
I have 2, and they are the Naked palettes from Urban Decay.
I still own these.
I just think that Urban Decay does a great job with their colors, and I think every color is extremely pigmented, and you get a lot of bang for your buck with these because you don't have to use as much. So,
have you seen the new Naked reboot, Reloaded?
No.
Oh.
So here's the really funny thing is that I want to say within the past year or so, I've really not fallen out of love with makeup, but I just don't do my makeup the same way that I used to do my makeup. I used to wear eyeshadow almost every single day, and when I get ready for work now, I don't.
That's because it's in the middle of the night.
It's 5 o'clock in the morning when I get ready for work. I don't love eyeshadow, and maybe that's because I've had some bad reactions to palettes recently, but yeah, like Morphe eyeshadows cannot use. There's something in their formula that makes my eyes water and makes them so itchy. So I know other people have had issues with it, but
yeah.
Whoa, buddy, that's a no.
Well, I think everyone, you go through cycles where you fall in and out of love with certain products. So I think that's totally normal. Okay.
That one.
So I also kind of have a tie as well. And for me, it's the Lorac Pro palette and the Laura Mercier Artist palette. I think these have great color payoff and just they're so easy to work with.
I still have both of those.
A delight. Just a delight. And I actually have hit pan on one of the colors in the Laura Mercier palette, that African Violet, which is such a beautiful, like, purpley, bronzy shade. It's stunning. So yes, I still have those two palettes. Okay, I'm 3 for 3. Okay, so number 3 is versatility. So which palette do you think is the most versatile?
I, again, had to go with my 2 Naked palettes. I personally think that these have the most versatile, different kind of looks that you can get out of them. You can go really, really natural, or you can go really, really heavy. And I like these for
Smoky is
school.
what I was trying to say.
I brought both of these back to school, and I use them all the time because I
Did
use them
you?
for any occasion that I come across.
So I picked the Lorac Pro palette, and one of the reasons why I picked it is because it has equal matte and shimmer shades in it, and such a great range of shades from, you know, light to medium to really dark, and has great highlight shades and also has these dark shades that you can use as a liner. So one palette that can do it all.
That's a plus.
That's a plus.
I still feel that way.
Okay, then the next one is which palette has the best for travelability?
I actually have 3 that they're all kind of the same, and it's the Too Faced palettes that are these little boxes.
I own only one of those.
Which one do you have?
I own the very top one. I think it's the Natural Eye palette, which they no longer make in the cardboard packaging. They're in the tin packaging, which I prefer. So
I actually think they've redone that, and it's now in an even more updated packaging from the tin. So I think they went
Is it in a cardboard box?
No, it started off in the cardboard box, then it went into the tins, and now it's like, it's really beautiful. They've done a whole new, I'll show it to you later.
Okay.
And I'll insert a picture.
I really liked the middle one in this that I cannot remember. They still make it, but that was also a fave of mine. And then the bottom one, which I'm pretty sure was like the mermaid one or the
I think it's the
one.
Summer Eyes.
Yeah.
Summer Eyes.
I only used a handful of times, and I bought it for the packaging.
Yeah,
But also, I didn't travel a lot at this point in my life, so how would I have known that these were good to travel with? That's the real question of the day, because if you asked me that now, I would not have said those.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll do an updated perfect palette tag.
Yeah, if you guys want to see that.
Yes. Leave a comment below. If we get enough positive response, we'll do an update to this. Oh, that's interesting.
And I think these are so great and convenient. I'll show you my favorite one, because you get all of these colors that you can do multiple things with.
All of these colors!
Compact. And I fit these in my makeup bag so easily.
So for me, the clear winner is going to be this one. I traveled with it a lot this summer. Mostly because it has, you know, bronzer and highlight, blush and all. Before I got this,
use bronzer.
This was my go-to palette for travel.
I like this one.
This one's really great. I forgot how great it is because it has a
I don't
nice
own this one
assortment of
anymore.
shadows, but it has 2 blush choices built in. So I kind of like that grab and go aspect of it. But
who doesn't love 2 blush colors?
I know, right? But gosh, I used the heck out of it.
Says the blush girl.
Okay.
I do love blush.
So
That's the
then,
truth.
moving on to which palette is your biggest regret? Did you regret purchasing?
So mine would have to be the Too Faced Summer Eye palette. I bought this because I really liked the names on them, and more specifically this one, which I believe is Mermaid.
Oh my god.
And I really don't use this at all. I think I used it a couple times when I bought it. I just don't think that the colors are that great.
Wow. That's hilarious. And you know, the one color that I pointed out, mermaid, is because like at that point in time, I was really obsessed with mermaids. Not so much now, maybe a little bit, but like not as much as I was. Like that was a personality like thing for me.
It was.
And now it's not.
No. And did you ever use that bright turquoise color?
No, probably not.
Can't even imagine you wearing that much color on your eyes ever.
This is a lot of color for me today. Wearing like oranges, that's a lot for me.
And you're using which palette?
The toasted palette, the Tarte Toasted.
Yeah.
I always want to call it the Tartlet Toasted because that makes more sense, but it's not.
No. Yeah.
So.
Okay. Maybe they're just not right for you.
I don't think they're right for me. I do like the color, the mermaid color, for doing like under eye, but this is my biggest regret. And I think the reason I wanted it so bad is because it was prom season and everyone was buying it. And I was in college and I wanted to be like, but
I wanted to feel cool because I was in college.
They actually redid it this past summer.
Did they? But I don't like this version of it. So, yeah. It just, and some of the colors are just too sparkly, which is a thing, if I'm saying that.
Yes?
Too sparkly. Meanwhile, there's literally a Urban Decay thing that you bought that you like put on your legs for Ben and Kendall's wedding. Maybe. And like I sometimes use that as my highlighter when I'm feeling extra.
Yeah, I bought that. I don't think I ever used it.
No, but I did. And I use it all the time. Oh, wow, that's interesting.
All right, so this is my biggest regret. And for me, you know, the colors inside are so beautiful. They are so dark. It's just, they're really
what did you expect?
hard to wear. Okay, so first of all, I still own this palette just for, you know, old time's sake, I guess.
Also, hold on. If this is up on the screen, this is what our driver's license pictures look like, by the way, because in Virginia at this time, you couldn't smile. Anyway, keep going. That rule has changed, but...
And I think when I did my recent, like, palette video, all my like, palette collection, I talked about this. And yes, they're all dark, but the purple, blue, and green at the bottom, I thought would look purple, blue, and green on your eye. And they actually look more black than purple or black than green. They have a very dark, dark base. And so I was really, really, like, disappointed about that.
Did you swatch this at the store when you bought it?
I did, but sometimes swatching
and how it goes on your eyes is two different things.
Yeah, it is two different things. Yeah. And I remember I really loved the Naked palette, and so I was like, oh, this looks really fun and interesting. For me, I think they're hard to wear. Maybe if I were younger and going out more, I would like it. So now I mostly just use it as like, sorry, bang you in the head, like little accent colors. But
I like that a lot.
We might have to do a little prisoner exchange. I actually think after this video, you did take that palette for a while and used it.
Did I?
Yes, I remember. You had it for quite a while.
I didn't go out, so I don't know.
But I think the color you used the most was that, like, mushroom neutral shade.
Oh, probably.
And the first two, like, lightest shades.
That does not surprise me.
Not
I
at all.
always hit pan on the lightest shades in the palette first.
But we did do a palette exchange.
We still do.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll come in and take things and then return.
Yeah, or I'll be like, hey, can I borrow Norvina? Or, you know. Yeah. Because neither one of us will ever go through an entire palette, so it doesn't make sense.
I hope you know that when you ask me that and I'm at work, you can just take it.
Yeah.
If I don't respond.
I usually do.
I like this hairdo on you, by the way.
Yeah, I might have to go a little bit shorter.
English, we're coming for you.
I might have to do a little screenshot.
I need a haircut.
So, which palette do you think has the best color names?
That's number 6.
Number 6.
I favor this palette so much, but the Alice in Wonderland palette definitely does. Just because the names in here they just go along so well.
With what?
the whole entire storyline.
Look at that. Drink Me.
But
It's
I also
almost
really like
empty.
this, which Urban Decay's no.
So Drink Me is actually Sin. That's why I liked it so much.
Oh, how funny is
Because
that?
I love the color Sin.
That's funny.
Yep. And that's the whole reason why I kept this palette until I somehow realized that you can buy Urban Decay eyeshadows in singles, so I just bought Sin in a single.
I remember you buying that too.
known for doing is that their one color called Alice is literally the color that I would, like if it was in front of me, I would just associate it with Alice. But I know that in the Ariel palette from Sephora, they did not have any true red shades for Ariel.
Probably because
Which
no one
was
would wear red eyeshadow.
That's way, way before the red eyeshadow craze.
That was.
Which we're still in, to a certain degree. Yeah.
I know. What is it?
So,
Well, for eyeshadow, red's a color.
I know, but it's a color that is very much associated with that. So,
Okay. I think in general, Urban Decay has the best color names. I was hard pressed to pick between these two palettes. They both have really fun, interesting names. And, you know, for someone of my vintage, they're printed and they're big enough that I can read them. So, like this one from Stila. They're so itty bitty, I can't read them.
she asked me to read them to
I'm
her.
like, are you kidding me? And when I did a video on this, I actually had to print them out and put them on the wall behind the camera in a bigger font because they're virtually unreadable and it's not enough contrast. Yeah. Oh well.
Okay. I don't remember having to do that, but I guess I did. That's so funny. And I think that's the original Naked Basics, the very first one, which I know I passed along to you,
Yeah, and it's long gone.
which is probably long gone.
I did really love that palette. It was a great palette.
Yeah, still is. You can still get it. Okay.
Okay, so getting down, we have last two questions. And the next one is your least used palette.
My least used palettes, I will probably end up saying are my Coastal Scents palettes, both of them. Something just fell out of one. That's lovely. And the reason that these are my least used is because I used them more when I was in high school when I first started getting into doing makeup.
That's true.
But their color payoff isn't good. And I just think that it's really cheap packaging. It falls apart very easily. And I mean, it's good for the $20.
I actually don't know if Coastal Scents is even in business anymore.
Oh,
I don't know if...
you never hear anyone talking about them.
No, I don't think they're in business anymore. I think BH Cosmetics might have taken over that kind of scene because they make the palettes that have 100 colors in it.
Or Morphe. I
Or
think
Morphe.
those look a lot like Morphe, those
But they were
gigantic.
like literally this big.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
but I loved them at the time because at that time in my life when I was in high school, Elle and Blair Fowler were really big on YouTube. And I still think that they kind of are, but I don't watch them anymore. And Blair was my age or is my age, and she used to match her eyeshadows to her outfits. And so I used to do that because, you know, at that time you're like, this person's doing it. I want to do
But
it.
I think all young girls
Do that.
do that.
Yeah.
When they first start using makeup,
Yeah.
they start by like matching.
So I had some looks. Thank goodness I got out of the looks.
And you don't own those anymore.
Oh gosh, no.
No.
No. I'm pretty sure I threw them away not too long after we made this video.
They spend for one of them, but not if you use them all the time.
So do you think those are good for someone just starting out? Because
Yeah.
it gives you lots of choices and you can play around with it a little bit.
I think
And then kind of decide what your style is like.
the best one to start out with is the original one, which has all the colors of the rainbow.
Okay, but you hit pan on quite a few
All
of
the
those.
neutral shades, Mom.
Yes, well, that's true.
All the neutrals, yeah. No, I did like this palette. It was a good palette, but I like...
Yeah. Yeah, that's it is what it is.
I think seeing
It's
this,
actually a pretty nice, cohesive, big palette.
and it has a lot of different colors. Like, you can do a lot with this, but it's not something that I would think to purchase now. Like, this is too many options.
Well, I never see you wearing the blues into the pinks, ever.
No. Well, I do, like, I wear, like, peachier shades, and then sometimes I'll do a green.
Mm.
Sometimes I'll do a purple. I have to be, like, in the mood.
In the mood.
Yeah.
Well, because then it gives you kind of something to play with. But if you're looking for a really cheap palette, I mean, out of the Coastal Scents palettes, I think the warm palette is the best. But
Naturally.
Neutral palette. Because
it
you're
is
a warm
big old
girl.
neutral palette, but I wouldn't use half these colors. But
Okay.
me being in high school,
But also, half those colors were not warm colors. They were cool colors.
Mm.
So, labeling it as the warm palette, I think, was false advertising.
Yeah. That's a gigantic neutral palette.
That is. Hold on. Now I'm, like, really interested to know if Coastal Scents is even still in business.
Okay. Google break.
They are still in business. Interesting.
So for me, you know, it is this poor little smoked palette. Poor baby. He's so beautiful, but... So I'm actually going to challenge myself to come up with some more
You
wearable
almost just hit yourself in the face with that thing.
Stay tuned. Maybe I'll do a little video on that, because I think there are some wearable looks in there. I just haven't discovered them yet. I think it was very much an impulse buy for me, and instant regret.
mm-hmm.
But I didn't take it back. I'll have to go back and look and see if I ever did a video on that palette. I don't know if I ever did. Interesting. If I did, I'll put a link up here. If I didn't, there'll be no link up there. Okay.
Oh, that one eyebrow.
Okay. So the very last question is kind of like, you know, the big winner. Which palette is your most used, most loved, almost like your desert island palette? Like, if you were stranded and you only had one palette with you,
I think I know
God
what I
forbid,
chose.
which one? Okay, I just have to pause this for a minute, because a lot of people who did this tag were like, took this so literally, like,
Yeah.
well, you wouldn't need an eyeshadow palette on on a desert island. And I'm like, you're kind of missing the point. It's like just another phrase for like your holy grail palette.
Yeah.
And then some people used, like, broke it down and did their most used and their most loved and then their desert island. It was interesting to see how people interpreted the questions. Anyway.
Yeah, obviously, if you're on the... Okay.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be wearing makeup, but whatever.
What would it be?
I have a tie. I have a tie because this is the Naked palette from Too
That's
Faced.
what the name was.
It's one of my favorites. I have hit pan on almost every single one.
Yeah, I did love
They're
that
great
color.
colors. I really specifically like this black color because it's creamier than most blacks and not so harsh. But at the same time, I also really like the Natural Eye palette. I use this every day in college, and it's a great palette.
It is a
And
great palette.
I don't know. These are like my two babies. When I travel, I have to decide which one I want to take.
So which one do you pick the most? You have to pick one.
I can't.
You to pick one.
I can't. I love them both equally. Are you really going to make me choose?
I am. You think about
Okay,
that.
fine. The Naked Eye one because I've hit pan on almost every single one. But more specifically, Birthday Suit is my favorite color.
That's true. I miss that color. And it's not a color that I have found in a lot of palettes, although bronzer has quickly replaced that. But that was more of a cool tone brown. Bronzer is obviously going to be a little bit warmer. Most bronzers are.
Yeah. That's surprising because you really love the warm tone shades.
Yeah, those are a lot of cool tone shades in there. Yeah. Also, that comment about that one being like a creamier black color, like, I don't really understand why I said that.
Doesn't matter.
Don't know.
Okay, so my favorite
Ooh.
is this one.
That's a big surprise.
It definitely.
No, it's not.
When I open up all my palettes, it's the one with the most divots, and it's not necessarily the one I've had the longest either. I just love this palette so much. And, you know, because it has a full face in it, hands down, this is the one I'd want to be stranded on a desert island with.
I think the difference between my mom and I palettes is that she chooses one that has eyeshadows and like a blush or a bronzer in it, whereas I just go straight for eyeshadows.
Well, I only have two that have both in it.
But you traditionally, she's drawn more towards them in the store.
Drawn to that.
I've noticed.
It's easy. It's just one thing in the bag. There you go. Yay. And you don't see too many palettes these days that have it all anymore. That was definitely a whole thing, like a whole phase.
That's really funny because if you were to ask me which palette I would bring now, it would be one that had a bronzer and a blush in it.
Which one?
The Clay Play Volume 2, which is essentially the Clay Play Volume 1 with different colors in the same packaging.
That's a nice little palette.
No comment because the the highlighter that's in that fell out when I was cleaning into the sink, like all crumbled out. So there's no highlighter left in that palette.
Oh, how sad.
It was very sad, but honestly, this is saying a lot, but that highlighter in that palette was way too glittery for me.
Wow, that's saying a lot.
That is saying a lot.
Because
But
you love a strong highlight.
More like chunky glitter and not like a finely milled glitter.
Yeah.
Like the Urban Decay thing that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah. I can't think of any palette that I own right now, and even the newer ones that I own, I can't think of any one that has a full face in it anymore. And I think Tarte stopped making those little round palettes. I have a theory about that. Because that first palette was such a huge success. And then they did subsequent they did ones after that using the same format because I can't say the word. And the formula was different and it wasn't as good. I remember like thinking, this is really disappointing. It's not the same formula that was in the Aqua Lilies. And I think I bought like 2 or 3, probably 3, at least 3 more like that. And then I was like, I'm done with these. These are not as good. Oh, we had bloopers?
Probably because I'm in the video.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I was going to turn it off.
My stomach is
Okay, I had to have known that was going to happen.
I think so.
I would just say the thing.
English, please.
Also, I just want to like make a note about the reason why I sound so different, and that's because as many people know, I went to college in West Virginia, and when you're around people who talk differently than you, sometimes you do pick up on the way that they say things.
Do you think you have a little bit of an accent?
I feel like I have an accent in that video. I'm sure that to most people watching this, if they're not from this area, they're probably like, you have an accent, which I would agree with you, but I feel like I really had an accent there.
Yeah.
Like, really bad. Well, I'm glad it recorded, Mom.
Yeah, of course. I use this all the time.
Wow. That was a trip.
That was a trip. It was fun. And I don't remember having so many repeats in the video.
I didn't either.
I thought we did a much better job about showcasing different palettes for each question, which is what I would strive to do if I were going to redo it. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So I really think that we need to redo this.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll put it on our list, and next time we decide to record, maybe we'll redo it. So I publish videos every Saturday morning, and I'll include a link to last week's video right up here. And if you are new to my channel, I hope you hit this little bee icon and subscribe. We'll see you real soon. Take care. Bye.
Have you ever explained the bee icon to people?
I point to it. It's right here.
No, but like, have you explained why it's a bee? The bee icon, or the bee in general, is because my mom's name, Melissa, means honeybee.
It does.
And so we have this whole bee thing going for her.
Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah, also her Bitmoji, because she has a Bitmoji,
I do.
wears a bee costume.
She does.
Yes,
and I love her. She's so cute.